Welcome, Tamsen from Floreo, the first virtual therapy in the metaverse. I'm so excited to have you here today and share with our audience, with our parents, with our care professionals, with therapists, nurses, teachers, parents, other professionals that work in the neurodiverse community, the phenomenal solution that you have, that your organization has developed. So I want to hand it over to you, Tamsen. Please.
Hi, thank you, Susan.
Welcome.
Very excited to be here, and hello to all of you. Thank you for having us. We are very excited to share our Floreo solution with you. And I know Susan and some of the team have been working with us on a pilot, which is exciting for families. And you'll see the path of how we started and how we're helping kids all across the world, actually, with this program. So thank you, Susan.
Thank you. And I'm going to give you the stage.
Sure. So, hi, everybody. And I'd like to say thank you again. We are very excited to talk about virtual reality and utilizing that with our kids who are neurodiverse. You might not have even heard of this as a subject before. So, I'd like to give you a little bit of background on Floreo first, how we were started, how research has been a great piece of our foundation, and how parents like yourselves, teachers like yourselves, and therapists all across the world are utilizing it as a part of their practices or their home technologies. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and let you know a little bit about Floreo. And please ask any questions that you have in the chat. If we don't get to them while I'm talking, I'll be sure to get to them at the end. I'm going to go... Here we go. And hopefully you all can see this. We are Floreo, as Susan mentioned, a virtual world for skill acquisition. I think it's very important to know our founding story because it's a very personal mission, much like you all are on. We were founded by an Amazon veteran, Vijay Ravindran, who was one of the first prime engineers. And he was inspired by his son's first experience with virtual reality. As many of you know, he had a son who was diagnosed at age 2. And after hundreds of hours of therapy, he had never pretend played by the time he was 6 years old. And Vijay brought home an early virtual reality device, and his son put it on and utilized it for the first time, took that off, and then pretend played. And this started this just sort of amazing aha moment for Vijay about what if this could be something that we could use with all of our kids to maybe help teach different skills in a fun and virtual world that's also very safe. And this is 6 years later, and now we have a patented, research-backed, telehealth-ready therapy system, which you'll see soon. The key thing here that Vijay realized when his son was in the virtual world was he didn't know what he was seeing. So he realized that whatever solution he came up with, we needed to have a coached device. So you, the parent, or you, the caregiver, could see what your learners are seeing and then guide through the lessons. I think the best thing to talk about virtual reality at the beginning is why. Why would we use it now with our kids? They're in screens. We talk about no more screen time, but there are some really great benefits to using VR as an instructional or therapeutic medium. First, it's fun and it's engaging. So much like everything you see your kids do on their screens, virtual reality works much the same way. It also offers a really great area for limited distraction. Once our kids put those headsets on, they're really in this world and you can guide them to different communication skills or lessons that you want. It reduces anxiety or intimidation about trying different things. This is really important when we're able to simulate these real world situations that, in the case of something like crossing the street, can have dire effects if you don't know how to do it before you get out there. So these are real world situations that are difficult to engineer and replicate in the clinic, home, or school. And they get a really high level knowledge or retention by practicing these skills over and over in a way to generalize them before they get out into the real world. It is also a supervised, self-paced learning experience so that each of the kids that goes through this, it's going to go through it at a different pace. And it's data driven. So you're able to see different communication skills or skills that are being acquired over time. How long did it take for them to get there? Or skills that maybe your kids right away mastered. I think it's important to reiterate that we are research-based. For the first 3 years, all we did was really work on the research piece of virtual reality as an efficacy in this medium. One of our first studies was with the Children's Hospital of Philadelphia's Center for Autism Research and the NIH, and we showed the difference for kids that used the Be Safe program and watched videos about interacting with police officers compared to those kids who used the Floreo police interaction units to learn about that. And they were 2 times as likely to master the skills. Our inclusive lessons give learners the ability to practice a very wide variety of skills, everything from the very beginning, communicative eye gaze, focusing and imitation, understanding and using gestures, responding to auditory information, calming and alerting experiences. We have a variety of those kinds of experiences within our library so that they can actually learn about just sitting and breathing and having that moment. We also have a wide variety of community and daily living situations like crossing the street or interacting with police officers or going into the grocery store. We're also just about to drop a series of lessons that are about going to the doctor's office, preparing to go to the doctor's office, and what do you do when you get there. And then we've added for some of our older learners those job-related skills like task management. We have working in a movie theater or working at the grocery store. So within those wide range of programs, gesturing, emotional regulation, independent living, we also have a variety of different environments like the grocery store, the school, the playground, the airport, the street, the movie theater, and the doctor's office, which is coming soon. I did mention data collection. So very briefly, you know that as your lessons are played, we're collecting that data and you can see it over time. For our educators, this is important when we're talking about those IEP goals that we're writing in. So it's a very data-driven way to show that those skills have been met. There are a few ways you can use Floreo. If you have the iPad and the iPhone and the headset at your home or the MetaQuest 2 device, you can use it at home. If our clinics have it, our therapists are using Floreo directly via teletherapy or in their clinics. In schools, we have a lot of special education teachers that have it in their classrooms. And right now, we're also distributing a variety of meta headsets that we were donated to for schools that are those junior high schools and high schools where the kids are 13 up that can use Floreo on their meta headsets. So it's a very exciting program. If you work with any schools here in the United States, make sure that they know about it. And again, the equipment needed is you need internet connectivity and an iPad 2016 or later, and either the iPhone and the Google Cardboard headset or the MetaQuest 2 device. And that's how easy it is to use Floreo. So now I'm actually going to show you a what utilizing it looks like. So I'm going to show you the iPad screen. So you'll see exactly what your learners would see. So hopefully you can see that. If you can't, please let me know. What you have here is our learner library. We have over 200 lessons designed to teach such a wide variety of skills as we discussed. At the beginning, you might have something like a custom lesson plan where we have things that you've already decided you want your learners to see. And then we are organized by skill. So you can see a variety of lessons regarding auditory information, some of our great wild immersion lessons where they're in a world, a 360-degree nature environment, and listening to facts about those things. We talked about our emotional regulation or our sensory skill gym. You see a wide variety of lessons here where the kids can go in and actually do these things like mindful breathing or yoga, just simple guided meditations, but things that can help them self-calm as well. We have our focusing lessons that allow our kids to really go in particular focusing areas, our understanding and using gestures area. Our school social area has over 40 lessons. Some of these are very short. You'll also notice that in some of these lessons, there are background characters and some have no background characters. This is because we're enabling our learners to be in an environment that's best for them. So for some of our learners, when they're first starting out, having no distractions of any kind is a really great way to learn the skill. And then adding in people walking around or noises is also a really good way to do it. And I'm going to pop us in to a lesson here. Let's go up to one of our favorite lessons. Let's see, I think we should go to focusing. How about we follow the animals? We're going to quickly follow a point. So you see here our safari world. And in this safari world, Emma is going to point out some animals and our learner is going to look around and see them. You can see here that when you're looking at this screen, all your learner is seeing is those green lines in the center of the screen. So you're going to see, Emma's going to follow a point in a moment. You see those green lines in the center? That's what your learner is seeing. And then on the iPhone, the learner is looking around and they're going to do the tasks. So I'm going to have Emma pick an animal. I'm going to choose the parrot. So quickly look around. Great job. She was pointing at the bird. You can see we get some recognition. Come back and look at Emma. And you as the coach are guiding the entire lesson. So now I'm going to press the chimp. What did Emma point to? Great job. It was the chimp. Go along through the lesson. As you can see, that coach's dashboard area is an important area because you, as the coach, are guiding the lessons. You see here that the lesson summary will tell you what was happened. I didn't look at the animal long enough to get corrected on this. So you can see that we can pick different things. We have things aimed at various skills. This is one of our most popular things. It's real hard for some of our kids to interact in conversations. This one is called Join a Conversation. And you can see the goal here is really to help our kids learn how to listen for a topic and then add something to that conversation. So this is Join a Conversation in the park. You see my learner's going to look around the environment. I'm going to choose a low traffic level. Again, the coach's dashboard is underneath that blue line. You can see my learners. I'm going to choose movies. Let's practice joining a conversation. Listen for the topic.
I saw a really cool movie last night. I love a good comedy.
I've seen the movie Spider-Man like 19 times.
So do you know what they're talking about? And my learner is going to say yes. So I'm going to say yes.
I'm going to see a movie with my big brother this weekend.
Conversation is in progress. Can you make a comment to keep the conversation going? So now my learner is going to say, I like to go to the roller rink. And we know that that's off topic. So I, as the coach, am going to press off topic. I'm going to see what the avatars do. They're confused. They expected you to talk about movies. So they act confused and we want to try again. Let's try one more time. And now my learner said, I love movies too.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
The lesson has ended. So you can talk about all of these different conversations. You can see we always go, the learner is in our lobby. So you as the coach are guiding things through. And then I think I want to just end on one of our emotional regulation lessons. We're going to find the fish. This is one of those lessons that a lot of our kids really like. It's a great way to end a period of time with Floreo. So maybe you practice some communication skills, and then you end on one of these neat lessons where we're just looking around, trying to work on our breathing. A fish is swimming this way. Can you see it? You look around. Let's see. Can you find it? Where is it? There it is. You found the fish. Great job. And the fish goes away, and we look for more fish. As you can see, some of our kids just love to sit and stare at the aquarium. This is a great way to interact on that. And then another in our emotional regulation area is calming reminders in the crystal cave. We're going to look around a cave environment and find some crystals.
In this space, you can cool out. Find some crystals.
I'm looking around the environment, finding a variety of different crystals.
Where are the sparkling crystals?
Now she asks me to find where are the
Did you hear
sparkling
that?
crystals.
Let's find those crystals.
Where are they?
Good job finding the crystals.
So we can continue on in this environment. So now I just want to come back and see if you have any questions or any thoughts on what you've seen. I'm happy to show some other things if you would like. I would love to see if anybody has used Floreo in the past or ever even heard from us. All right, I'm not seeing any comments.
Yeah, there are no comments in the section yet, but it's so exciting to see Floreo in action. And I know I have seen it in my house, and it's super cool. And I also saw that you have partnered with like a real underwater world where the kids can swim with dolphins and have these real natural experiences with just being surrounded.
Yeah,
So
that's
very
actually one of our partnerships is with Wild Immersion, which is a French company, and they work with Jane Goodall on these nature environments. And it's so exciting for the kids to be in that world, especially it's so immersive for them. And we're using that as a way to practice focusing. So it's a combination of really entertaining content, but actually practicing a skill. To your point, like you said, they are not really thinking they're practicing skills. They're having fun, but you are really engaging. That's a great question. For what Floreo starts at about 5 years old and goes up, as old as could be at this point. The reason we say Floreo at 4 or 5 is really because the use of the headset. So if you think of what a headset is with the iPhone in the headset or the MetaQuest devices, your kids need a strong enough neck to do that. I think so for each of you, the player cannot walk around in the virtual area. They can just look around. We recommend that our learner be in a swivel chair like this. There are some of our lessons where they have the impression of moving around, but they're not actually moving around. In a couple of our lessons like yoga, your learners can be standing and practicing, but really we find it much safer for them to be sitting. Yes, we do have a lot of our communication skills, things like that are for nonverbal children. When you sign your learner up within the Floreo system, you will fill out a questionnaire. And that questionnaire, let's say my daughter Avery, I might say she is minimally verbal. She has had a diagnosis of autism and ADHD. And those things all will help us guide you to different lessons that are applicable for your learners. Great
Very
question.
cool. No, super. So look here.
I think that's a great segue into discussing, we don't really base our lessons on age. It's really about skill levels. So you can work on a variety of different skills. You might have lessons that are in the school. You might have lessons that are outside of that environment. But any of the content that we develop for our partners is always available to all of our Floreo community. You can also check out our website. I will put that in the chat for you. And there are lots of great pieces on there. Also some testimonials from families like yourselves or teachers, different ways people like it. And then also I will give you this, if you want to take a look at all of those lessons that I showed. In our library, you can click on the lessons and learn more about them. And then I'm also going to drop in the feed a video that is a great way to learn more about it, which actually you can find that on the website as well. Oh yeah, as part of, if you're an enterprise customer, so if you are someone who has engaged with us and you're not just a parent, we have an hour-long training where we teach anybody who's going to be utilizing the program. I know in some of our pilots, like with Apex, we'll have a group already trained before they come into your homes. So it's a great way to, we always suggest practicing before you start with your kids. And yes, we do have lessons suitable for, I think that's a descriptor. I would say our lessons like in the movie theater, we practice things like multitasking. How do you do things on a list? What if you're working on a project and someone interrupts you? These are all lessons that are aimed at our kids that are hopefully going to get jobs. So we have lessons in the grocery store where we're practicing working with a fellow person who might have a different opinion, all of those kinds of things. We also have lessons that we developed utilizing how to ride the public bus. So these are things that are hard to practice in the world, but if you can practice utilizing that ahead of time, it's a great way to actually learn how to ride the public bus.
Super. Very cool.
That's a great question. I know we only have a few more minutes, so.
Yeah. Tamsen, how can people get in touch with you if they want to learn more?
They can email me directly at, I'm putting it in the chat, tamsen@floreovr.com. or go directly to our website to check out a lot of what I have shown you today as well. I know some people love to just spend time in these different areas learning about it, but I'm always happy to talk in person as well.
Wonderful. Well, thank you so much, Tamsen. That was such a great overview. I'm very excited for the possibilities here. And with that, I want to say thank you so much. And in about 5 minutes, we're going to start the next session. So everybody, a few minutes time to refresh. And then I see you in the next session.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you all.